Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here. And joining me just like every Thursday, we got my good buddy Digger Jim in the co-hosting seat. But he's not alone. With these two guests, I needed someone to help me co-wrangle them. And we have none other than Mr. Mark Andrews.
Evening.
And we have D. Jackson Roykirk in the chat to further put them in their places.
Yep.
And of course, we're talking about Anachronic Comics. Joe, good evening, Joe. Great to see you, sir.
Great to see all of you.
And the Magic Lasso himself, Ryan. Good evening, Ryan. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing awesome. Thanks for having me back on tonight.
The lasso of truth.
That's right.
No bullshitting tonight. Let me tell
That's
you.
not at all.
So you're not going to talk at all then, Joe?
No.
Now, how this episode came about, though, was both of these gentlemen were very close to finishing their JLA runs. And then Ryan wanted to do a JLA episode, and then Joe's like, well, I'm almost done my run too. And then we had the combined idea of, hey, let's do a 10-1-1 show-off where they can each show their 10 favorite books. And we'll get double the Justice League of America love tonight because it's an epic run. It deserves a little extra love.
Gary, the thing about it is the Justice League is so epic that this is actually your first 22-2. I mean,
yes.
No, I think that was the first time you were on, Joe.
That's true. I think that was a 30-10-10, wasn't it?
Right. I can't say anything
Max
about
is
that.
going to keep you honest on that one, Joe. All right, let's say hi to our chat, though, real quick. We have the Jackson Roykirk in first tonight. He had to, get that first troll in. All right, then we got Brad Walbor. Good evening, sir. Hope you're doing well. Hope you don't get called into work tonight. We have Joe saying hello to everybody. We have one of my all-time favorite people, Jerry the Jitterbug. Good evening, Jerry.
Jerry.
We have White Tiger, Ruby G, Calm, Cool, Collected. Good evening, Ruben. Great to see you, bud. We got Walbor saying hi to everybody. And we got StreamYard acting up. We have John's Comics with Kids. Good evening, John. We have Dope's Comics, Full House. And Dope, I messaged you again, and it still says failed to send. So Instagram does not
like
want
you,
me to,
Gary.
I know. I'm not trying to hear it.
Watch, I'm gonna go text him right now and be like, "Dope, I'm glad that the money got to you."
Bird, how you
keep
doing?
laughing, Gary?
Yeah, Joe was like, "Hey, I want to." All right, and then we got, all right, Magic Lasso saying hi to everybody. All right, so as we're getting more people in, they're getting their notifications. I will, of course, give them a quick tip of the hat. But, gentlemen, the show's about you two tonight. So which one of you would like to present first?
Joel.
What?
Oh,
All right.
That must have put some lawyerly pressure on him.
It's good for him.
Right? All right. We'll start it out with...
All right, so going first is really easy, right? So I'm going to start off with Justice League of America #1. That's why I made it so easy. All right. Now, the copy I bought as a kid has no cover on it. So I went out and got another one some years ago so that I would have one with the cover on it to be in there. So, of course, after their appearance in Brave and the Bold 28, 29, and 30, and the great success of it, they launched in their own comic book. And the significance of this is it really launched the era of multiple hero teams. Okay, so without this book, you likely would not have had the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, et cetera, et cetera. So it came out. Gardner Fox was the writer, of course, and Mike Sikowski, with his kind of interesting way of drawing people running and things like that. I don't know how people twisted their legs in that way. Was the artist, the main artist for Justice League, with some throw-ins by Murphy Anderson. Murphy Anderson actually did this cover as we went along. So, I mean, obviously one of my favorites. The other thing that I really liked about this is it's the first appearance of Despero, and he's appeared in a bunch of different things, and he's a significant a significant type of villain that I'm sure is going to appear more in the movies and in other areas. He has appeared in the comic books quite a bit. He's been a Justice League kind of villain all along, but he's a significant villain. He appeared on TV also as well. So this is my first book and one of my faves.
I think that's awesome. That's also the only issue of Justice League where there's no issue number printed on the cover.
Right.
Oh,
It does say
that in the blue.
number
Yeah,
one.
good little fact for them.
One. I should have probably taken it out of the.
Oh, that's good.
That's good, Joe.
And one of the other significant things here is that, and it's kind of confusing, and maybe Brian understands this a little better than I, but Batman and Superman very rarely appeared in the early covers and even in the stories. If they did, it was like, they're out doing something else, or they have a very small part of it. And I think part of the reason, as I recall, was that they just thought that the stories would be too difficult, having especially Superman there who could do a bunch of different things. As they went along, they solved that. You know how they solved it? There was always somebody with magic or kryptonite or something to basically, knock Superman out. So the other heroes really were front and center. And you see that it happened right here in the first issue and the first cover. They're nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Ooh, throwing shade on their big two.
Yep.
So for my first book that I'm going to show, you might look at this and say, well, why the heck would you pick issue 36 as your first book to show? Mm-hmm. Because this book represents friendship. This was A-OK to me from Joe, Anachronic Comics, for my collection. And that's what, to me, collecting comic books is about, because the books are great, but your friendships are better that you make because of these books. And I have this book because of Joe. And there's other people that have A-OK'd me Justice League comic books or sold me Justice League comic books from their collection, which helped me round out my collection. And it's those books that come from the community or have a tie to the community that mean just as much to me as the ones that I remember seeing for the first time on a spinner rack. So issue 36 is where I'm starting out with, and you might say, well, I do see a Superman, but there's no Batman on this cover. Ha, there is a Batman on this cover. Just saying.
Can you guess why?
So 36 is where I wanted to start out tonight, with appreciation for the friendship that I made with Joe, partially because of this book.
That's very nice of you. Very nice of you to say that. Now,
that's how I felt.
I had to buy all of my comics. I have no friends that gave me any.
So now he's buying friends.
It works. It is working. So
I had to beat Jackson Roykirk to it. So
you wait till he sends me that All-Star Comics number 8. I'm going to be like knocking on his door with cookies every day.
Well, you know what? Obviously I started watching you because I saw the Magic Lasso, and that interested me, because I am a Wonder Woman fan as well. And so when I saw that you were into Justice League, and I think I wrote to you and I said, which ones are you missing? Because I do have some doubles, and I happen to have a double of that in decent shape.
Yeah.
I have a few others that are pretty bad, but that was in decent shape, and was one that you were missing.
That I needed. So
it off to you. Yeah.
So thank you very much. I would have been one step away from even being on the show tonight if it wasn't for you.
nice.
Number 36. Got it.
Yep, 36.
All right, we'll bring you
right on.
Oh my gosh, I hate what they're doing with StreamYard now. It makes it
I know, isn't it terrible? You can't find stuff now.
Well, you go to drag and it comes up with all these other little menus and a little icon, and you have to try to get around them.
So my second one is significant to me. I mean, I do like the story. It's amazing because it's got a villain that has appeared multiple times on television, on the animated movies, and so forth. But for me, this was the first Justice League book that I bought.
Oh.
And you said, what? I thought you said you bought Justice League #1. That's true. I did buy that one, although I bought it from a bookstore that didn't have a cover on it. But the first one I actually bought was this one. It was Brave and the Bold #30.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
And before the show we started, we we spoke about, Digger talked about the fact that he got into like Legion of Superheroes and Justice League because basically you were getting more for your money, all these heroes. And I did mention when I did, some people asked me to do a run through of all of my Justice League books after I said I finished. I said no, and I did the first box of 1 to 99. And I think I mentioned that. One of the things that really intrigued me, I was always into like Brave and the Bold. I was always into when they had multiple heroes, Showcase, the special ones are there. So when I saw this, I said, what the hell? 10 cents? And I got all these heroes here. This is kind of cool, and right? I'm looking at them in distress, wondering how they're going to get out of this thing. Now this one came out, when was it? 1960, I think. So little 9-year-old Joe going with his 10 cents, maybe I had 20, to the store deciding what I was going to buy. It was a no-brainer, man. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah,
10 cents,
absolutely.
And I got all these heroes and this story. Come on.
And you know what though? That's an eye-catching trade dress on that too.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
White and blue. Yeah, and Gardner Fox and Mike Sikowski again. And I love Gardner Fox. I got some of his, maybe someday I'll do a video. I think I have a few of his paperback novels that he did.
I was gonna say he was a very accomplished novelist.
He was. So, but Professor Ivo and Amazo, those are two pretty big villains as well that exist up until today. So so it's a significant book for that reason as well. But it was my first time that I did a search on Google, and I think that Amazo has appeared at least 20 times in books and whatever like that, and not even counting the movie things and so forth. So, as a practical matter, having a robot that can draw off the powers of all of the Justice League just intrigues me.
Yeah.
So, and the way they did
them,
this, pretty cool. You thought they were all gone. They were
Nice.
dead. They were dead, but one of them was resourceful and helped them all out. I won't give it away. You'd have to.
Now, Joe, do they have those in omnibuses now?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do, but I don't.
They do.
Since I have the originals, now this one I can't read because I don't have a paper copy of it. But I just, if I want to read it again, I just read it online. I'll go on.
Right.
They did do a facsimile of that in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and there's facsimiles of all these things, and I was buying some of the facsimiles because effectively when they used to sell facsimiles, even the Marvel ones of original books, some that I didn't have, obviously, like AF-15 and so forth, they would sell them at the regular price. And now they've got like all these things, and it's $15. I said, well, that's enough for that. I'm not buying that anymore. You know? So as a practical matter, you can find these either in facsimiles. I don't know what this goes for now, but one of the things about Justice League is, except for some significant issues, they're all, if you go for a mid-grade, they're all relatively inexpensive.
They're not bad.
They're not bad. So it's not a horrible series, except there's 261 issues, 3 annuals and 1 special issue in volume 1. So there's a lot of them. But you can buy some. I bought some of the later ones for like $5, something like that.
Yeah.
So mid-grade.
And they're all one story per issue, right?
That's the thing that I love about these.
Yeah.
With one series of exceptions, which I'm going to get into because I picked out some of them where they had multiple issues for stories. But basically, the stories were 1 issue, 1 story.
Yeah.
They
So
divided it into chapters.
Yeah.
And
Which made it something really what you want to pull off the spinner rack because you're not going to miss something. If somebody gets the issue ahead of you.
All right. Yeah. And it didn't happen with the Justice League because, and I'll explain it at some point in time during this presentation, but I got so enamored of them that, I never missed a copy of these. But some of the others I did, because you went there when you had some money. And if you missed a copy, you missed it. And you tried to find them, and sometimes you could in secondhand stores, and sometimes you can't. Yeah, Jackson.
Yeah.
That's not my fault. It's bloody computer. It's winning.
Ryan, you go.
Wait a minute, is it my turn?
For my second book, I chose one that's really in my sweet spot, the beginning of my sweet spot of Justice League. And this is issue 157. So we get a great Joe Staton cover, and it's the guys versus the ladies with special guest Supergirl in 157. But what's also significant about this issue, this is the wedding of Ray Palmer and Jean Loring, the Atom and Jean Loring. And I remember there's a 2-page spread towards the end of this issue where it shows all of the Justice League members and their secret identities, but then above them is like images tied to, so you can see what character this is in their secret identity in case you didn't know. And I just remember staring at that 2-page splash spread for like an eternity. This wasn't the first issue I had of Justice League, but it's one of the earlier ones. And from about this era into the 82, 83 are probably my favorite Justice Leagues. And you'll probably see a lot from this era just because they pull a lot of great memories for me.
Nice.
That's a good book.
Yeah.
And we
book.
all have sweet spots and runs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This was it for me.
Run, but there's one particular section that's always going to be your favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, and this qualifies for me.
I didn't realize. I don't remember that story exactly, but I'm going to have to go back and read it now.
Yeah. Maybe I can be super duper careful and show you that splash.
Oh, he's taking it out. Oh my God.
He's taking it out.
He's touching it.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool. That's
That's a cool splash.
Now, did they actually let one side win over the other, or did they end up having to team up together and fight a baddie?
Oh, the problem got fixed, and the lady stopped taking a whooping from him. So whip it out. If as John says, take the panties off.
That's the same
my
phrase that got
God.
John a restraining order.
It is.
Yeah, they did.
So my second book, sentimental favorite. You'll find out I put the mental in sentimental.
Jackson is on Joe tonight.
Yep.
Joe is getting ripped.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, Jackson. Like when they're slabbed, you can't do that. It's
Unless you have another copy.
That's good.
Listen, I had to bring a number of books with me down to Florida, so
Otherwise, he would have showed all 261.
I would have started with number one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this thing. But you know what? Let me.
I want to
first
see if
one
there's
with
anybody's
intermission.
going to show. Anybody's going to show a specific book that I'm thinking of.
Maybe.
Like I said, I'm all about the more the heroes, the more I felt I was getting my money's worth. And there's a couple of crossovers.
After
I
this
also
one,
like what Joe talked about earlier too. Like that's why I like Marvel 2-in-1 and Marvel Team Up.
Yeah.
Because usually it was just one self-contained story.
Yeah.
So hold on, Digger, because you're going to see a bunch of those. But so as I mentioned earlier to Gary asked me, "Would you like to do this on today?" And I'm saying, "I'm getting ready to go down in like 2 days down to Florida. I don't know that I can do it. All my books are over in Cape Cod, but I said, you know what? I'll pull a bunch of books out and bring them down with me so I can do this show with Ryan because I really wanted to do it." So I pulled out Justice League of America #5.
Ooh.
And I couldn't remember why.
Perfect.
So, but I did remember why. This was the first appearance of Dr. Destiny. Dr. Destiny is part of the Dream. I don't know what you would call it in the Sandman series. He was in the TV show and so forth. But he starts off as nothing more than pretty much I don't know, not a petty criminal, but someone who is inventive with respect to stuff. And as a practical matter, I think he's going to, I think he's got a lot of possibilities, even going forward in the new DCU, because of the nature of how he can make people's dreams, dream about certain things and think certain things are happening or not really happening. It might be an Elseworld type of thing. I don't know, but I think there's a lot of possibilities in this. But and I also loved this cover. I don't know why. It always struck me when Gravity went wild, and it's only like one panel in this towards the end. The rest of the story has nothing to do with this. But
Well, I like there's like a whole era of DC Comics too, where all the like Justice League or even in their solo books, like especially Wonder Woman, they would get encased in ice or a crystal. It's just
Yeah.
They have superpowers. They just don't work against ice.
Yeah. So here, Dr.
Yeah, for some
reason. Yeah, he was basically having them so that they could not focus. They became mentally kind of incompetent, you know.
Right.
And he started off with
Easy Jackson's in the audience.
Yeah. And he did
Get
it
them back
first.
for you, Joe.
Yeah, he took Green Lantern's place. He did a Green Lantern first, but Green Lantern was able to somehow, just through a lucky break, you know, defeat that thing that was making him his mental capabilities incapable of being able to focus or anything, and was able to beat them at the end. But he's become a much bigger villain going forward now than he was in this first appearance.
Yeah.
Just like America #5.
Cool.
So that's your spec book? Is that what you're saying?
No, it could have been. I was thinking about it.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Thinking about it.
Your pitch was very specky.
Well, because I think it's possible. I have a couple of books here that could be spec books. That was one of them. But
especially those early issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So for my next book, I went sheer story. If you came to me and said, Ryan, I only have $5 and I need a good Justice League story to buy as a back issue, what do you recommend? This would probably be the first one that came to mind. It's issue 202. So we're at 1983, and what I like about this, first of all, is who they chose for this issue's Justice League lineup, because you are getting every single member in every single issue. But this time we have Hawkman, Red Tornado, Wonder Woman, the Atom, and Zatanna, and they're looking for Batman, and wait till they find him. They're going to have a problem, is what I'm going to tell you. This is just a one-issue story. You don't have to have read anything before this issue or after this issue just to enjoy what happens in this issue. The artwork is top-notch. The story writing is fun. It's everything that you wanted 60 Cents to be back in like 1983 or whenever it was. So wow. I just love this story. It's so fun.
What's the number?
203. Oh, excuse me, 202.
202.
See, this is what I like about this show, because I obviously I went out and I bought this book, but I don't think I've ever read it.
You should.
You know, well, I'm making my way through them. It didn't take a while to get up that far. But because your focus, Brian, is like in a lot of the, I would say like the later books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think most of mine is on like the pre-100 area. At least that's what my recollection is, you know, respect to that.
So that's what I went sheer story-wise. Like I said, I just upgraded my copy. I think I spent $3 on a really nice condition copy of this. So, but just read it and enjoy it and take it for what it's worth. But like I said, you didn't need the issue before and you don't need the issue after. You can just enjoy this one.
I'm probably gonna buy that.
You should. And if you do, I hope you enjoy it as much as I've hyped it up.
I can't understand.
Well, if not, I'll
I
make a
have
video.
it, but I didn't read it.
I had nothing to do with you spending money, Gary.
I didn't read it yet.
It's going to be less than $10 for sure. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's on eBay. You can get it for $367. That's just the first one I saw. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna check my LCS first and throw them the money if I can.
Yeah, good idea.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right, nice pick.
Okay, so
all right, back to you,
the
Joe.
the next book I have is really 2 books because I have to put in my Travato clauses.
I knew it was coming.
All my other picks are multiples, so sorry. But
well, you know, a
back
long
to you,
box
Digger.
doesn't take that much room when you're driving down to Florida.
Well, I drove down, but I'm not going to drive back. So, okay. So this book and its following book are basically the 2 books that maybe go, you know, just go full tilt into the Justice League of America. Once I got this book and the next one, I subscribed to it. And I subscribed for a very long time, up until the early 70s when I stopped, you know, basically collecting for a while. All right. Following the Flash number 123, everybody know what that is? The Flash of Two Worlds.
Yeah.
Where they introduced,
Right.
right? They introduced Earth 2 and the Earth 2 Flash, right? This was the book where they first teamed up. Justice League of America, number 21. Okay. Yeah. Crisis, and it's the first Crisis book, I believe.
Yeah.
Crisis on Earth 1. All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right? But take a look at that cover.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah. There you go, Jim.
I love Dr. Dr. Midnight is. Yeah, Dr. Midnight.
That's Our Man, the Atom.
Yep.
Green, I'm trying to look on the screen here. Green,
Our Man.
Green Lantern, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, and Dinah Lance, right?
Yep.
Dinah Lance. The mother of the one that we see more often there.
Yeah.
So this book basically solidified the multiverse aspect of DC Comics, and now you see it in other areas as well. So it really came out, and you have Earth 1 and Earth 2 now with respect to that. You have Jay Garrick, Alan Scott, and the rest of them. Basically it followed through all the way to Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985. So this was the start. Now Justice League of America back in the day and here was published 8 times a year.
Yep.
DC had bi-monthly books every other month, 8 times a year books, and monthly books. Justice League of America was an 8 times a year book. So it was on 2 months, off 1 month, on 2 months, and so forth. So these always came out during the summer, if I remember, either the summer or the early fall, something like that. So I waited and waited anxiously every year. And they did it, I don't know how many times, like 20 times, 25, 30. I mean, they did it basically every year, for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Where they had this joined up. But this set of books was the first one. And after this set of books, I was like Mr. Justice League, man. That was it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And I'm just loving the art in these eras too. The art's great.
Yeah, it is. This comic book, being such a Wonder Woman fan, there's some great Justice League comic books with Wonder Woman really in the spotlight. There's one where she's bitch slapping Superman. There's one where she's wearing a bondage cover with these rays of the Justice League running through her. But this one might be my favorite Justice League cover that spotlights Wonder Woman. It's issue 128. So what happened was, a lot of people seem to know of the mod era Diana Prince when she was powerless. They gave her powers back, but she wasn't in the Justice League book, and Justice League wasn't mentioned at all. So finally what they did in Wonder Woman, starting with issue 212, they started a storyline called the 12 Labors, where she says she wasn't even aware that she was powerless. And she says, well, I feel like I need to prove my way back into the Justice League. So in her title, she had a different JLA member monitor her next 12 adventures to see if she was worthy of rejoining the Justice League. And she passed her 12 labors, and this is the issue where she rejoined, issue 128, with an Ernie Chan cover. I actually don't have any slabbed Justice League comic books, but I need to get an upgrade of this anyway, but I'd love to actually get this one slabbed. Right. Not this particular copy, but a copy that is slabbed.
So there, Jackson.
So Santa Claus, if you are watching, this is on the list this year. So this is part of a 2-issue storyline, the beginning of a 2-issue. And the big cliffhanger is Midway City Hawkman's hometown. Looks like it's about to be destroyed. Okay. And that's the cliffhanger to the issue.
And it's so weird that they would just write her out of the Justice League to begin with.
She was powerless. They didn't. You know what was interesting, and these days they would never do this, but at the time that she was powerless, if you watch the Justice League, you'll see during those JLA JSA crossovers, they use the Earth 2 Wonder Woman in costume a lot in those crossovers. And I think it's because that there were people in DC that wanted that costume Wonder Woman back, and that's the only loophole that they had
Right.
to bring her back. Nowadays they would say branding wise, you couldn't do something like that. We have to keep establishing that she's powerless, But back then they did, they didn't think of things like that. And it's interesting how much Wonder Woman appearances you get from the Earth 2 in the Justice League title during those mod era Earth 1 Diana Prince years.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Nice. Good. Then they're back to normal, right? You finally got the best member of the team back
Yes. Yes.
with you. Not that stupid guy that can't handle the color yellow.
Oh boy.
That's right. The guy from Earth 2 can't handle wood.
Yes.
Can't handle wood, yeah. You beat him with a yellow pencil.
Yeah. Number 2 pencil.
I heard that Wonder Woman has no problem with wood.
And you have me on the big screen.
Oh.
All right. The next book, I really love this book when I read it for the first time, back in the day. It's from 1975. So it was towards the end of my, I guess, subscription or whatever of the Justice League. It is Justice League number 122. All right. And Aquaman was thought to be dead, but he wasn't. So, and this says like a very small part in the whole story, typical. They have something like this that kind of, draw you in. But the name of the story in this is The Great Identity Crisis, right? And there was the identity crisis later on, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So this was really the first identity crisis. And Dr. Light, the original one, the male, was the evildoer here. And he basically finds this, I don't know what it's called. He went into the Fortress of Solitude somehow, and he got something called amnesium. That's it, And what happened was, because at this point in time, the Justice League didn't know, I guess other than Batman and Superman, they didn't know each other's secret identities. And using that amnesium, he was able to make them forget who they were, and they couldn't help each other because nobody remembered who anybody was.
Right.
So they became just normal people and didn't know anything about it. Because Aquaman announced himself as what's his name? Arthur Curry a while back.
Arthur Curry.
He got affected by this, and so they were able to defeat Dr. Light in some way. I think Green Arrow was, I don't know if Green Arrow, but I think Aquaman was intent of that. But the key of this is that Green Arrow at the end says, gee, if we knew each other's secret identity, this would never have been a problem. And guess what they do? They disclose each other's secret identity in this issue. So they all get to know who their secret identities are. So to me, when I read this, this was a really big effing deal.
But amnesium, would it make you forget the other people's identity?
Yeah, well, that amnesium made them forget who they were.
Who they were.
Them. So, but since nobody else knew that these other people, like, the Diana Prince was Wonder Woman, for example, or whatever you. So nobody could say, well, wait a minute, but you're Wonder Woman. I don't know who I am. But they go, well, but you're the Flash, Barry Allen. So they couldn't do that because they didn't know that. And so Green Arrow said, hey, if we knew each other's secret identity, we would have been able to overcome this, and this wouldn't have been a problem for us. So they disclosed their secret identities to each other in this issue. So it's pretty significant. Just number 122.
I'm sure Batman wasn't thrilled about that. He's probably like, I think I'm going to keep my secret identity.
I probably knew everybody's secret identity already.
I like the
Yeah, he probably
perspective on
did.
that cover.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But
What's
again,
the number again?
Number 122.
122. I also that's the other thing I liked was like the floating heads at the top and everything. I don't know why. It's like, man, look at this. We're getting everything from them.
I'm so glad you showed that, Joe, because that brings back memories for me. When I was a little kid, going to a comic book store, which was an hour away in a different state, on the shelf behind him, he had his short boxes, but he would tack up with a bag, a comic book in front of the box, so he knew what titles were inside that box behind it. And he used that comic book to represent his Justice League for the longest time. It was that cover. So that really brought back some good memories. And I almost posted that issue this morning on Instagram, but I chose one just a couple issues later. So for my next book, I started thinking, who do I like as Justice League villain? Like, when I think back of all the foes they've had, who do I like? And the one that I seem to like, this might not be a popular opinion. I know some people that aren't the biggest fan of this villain, or these villains. I liked the Royal Flush Gang. Now, the first appearance of the Royal Flush Gang, like in issue 43, who that story is something. This is the second incarnation of the Royal Flush Gang, and I kind of like this one a little bit better. But the Royal Flush Gang, to me, they were just so visually different than anything that I had seen before. And this is issue 203. It's the one after the Batman one I just showed a little bit earlier. And it's the beginning of a two-part story. I'll also show for funsies. Here's the second part, 204. I don't know how anyone couldn't figure out that that was their headquarters when it's out in the desert or whatever, and it's a building that looks like that. I mean, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out that that's probably the Royal Flush Gang hiding inside there. But I just like the Royal Flush Gang. They are a go-to villains for me when it comes to Justice League stuff. I've liked some of the live incarnations that have been done with them. And I've liked their appearances. I've liked almost all of their appearances, with kind of the exception of their first.
Was the first one was the one where one of the players was like front and center, right?
Yes, and he was knocking everyone out. Yeah, he was knocking them out, and they were all flying.
Yeah.
That was 43. So, yeah, I think it is. So
Ace is on the cover, busting out because he's the muscle guy, right?
Yeah. But like I said, here we got a new version. Yeah, we got a new version of the team here.
Who's the artist on that? Who is that?
The artist on this is George Perez.
Yes.
Can't go wrong with that.
George Perez.
No.
Yeah. That was just a bonus for me when I picked up those books. George Perez art? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Very good.
Great pick.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, that's an excellent pick.
I have never read the Royal Flush Gang.
Okay.
So my next one, I'm going to continue with the Justice Society, Justice League of America team up. This was their second team up in numbers 29 and 30, and we continue with the Crisis motif. This is Crisis on Earth 3. So we have Earth 1, Earth 2, now we have Earth 3. And you see the Justice Society there, looking in the crystal ball, I guess it is, of Dr. Fate. And the lightning from Dr. Fate coming down and breaking that table of theirs. Okay? I don't know what the hell that means, because it has nothing to do with the story.
Dr. Fate has one of the coolest helmets in comics.
He does. All right. So Earth 3. People know who is on Earth 3. Okay. The Crime Syndicate.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
We're a pretty big deal in a lot of the Justice League, the animated movies. You've seen Ultraman, even in the new Superman movie. I think he was on Smallville. All right. So you've got this team up, which basically solidifies the idea of the multiverse, because now you have an Earth 3. So you're going to have other Earths, right?
Right.
If you have an Earth 3, you're going to have a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, we're going to end up at 52 at some point in time. All right. So you have the evil crime syndicate. So you have Ultraman, who's not on the cover over here. You have Owlman, who's the, kind of an evil, psychotic Batman. You have Superwoman, who's kind of a cross between Wonder Woman and Lois Lane, I would say. Right? Right, Ryan? Don't you think that's probably a good description?
Yes, absolutely.
And you have Johnny Quick, all right, who's the Flash, and Power Ring. I guess they couldn't think of a better name at the time, who was like the evil Green Lantern. So it establishes Earth 3. It basically shows that you can have a number of different Earths with different things that are there. I really like, they show up in a lot of different animated movies. and so forth. And I really liked the way they were put together in like Justice League Unlimited. But in the Justice League, the most recent, I guess it was it was a 3-part Crisis. What was it called? Crisis on. Oh, geez, I can't remember the name of it now. The Crisis on Infinite Earths, that 3-part series that ended that last set. They appeared in there, but Crisis on 2 Earths was the one where they were really focused in. And the animated stories, for the most part, are really fantastic, and they really do a good job with them in that. So this establishes the multiverse is more than just Earth 1 and Earth 2. Going to have more of them, and we have the Crime Syndicate and Ultraman and the others who make a number of different appearances, both in live, animated movies, and later on in the comic books as well.
Nice. Now you really like the Crisis books a lot, huh?
I got them all here. That was to me.
I mean, that was your sweet spot for those, though, right?
When the first one came out, it just sold me on it, and I just waited with bated breath every summer. I had to make sure, when the second one came out, I didn't realize, and I had to go around to get the second book. And I said, I'm subscribing because I don't want to. I didn't care about the rest of the stories. I mean, I did. I liked them.
Right.
I didn't want to miss those. And the way I would miss them was if I subscribed to the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Mr. Doug Bratton.
Can
All
I
right,
just,
back to you,
before
Ryan.
I want to give Ryan a shout out on the Royal Flush Gang. I was looking it up because I couldn't remember the episode. The animated series, Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
The episode called Epilogue. Did you ever see it?
Yes. Yeah.
One of the best.
Yes, it is.
That's one of those so well done and says so much about Batman and Amanda, all that stuff. But
right.
If anybody hasn't seen it, that is one that you got to see.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and great Batman in that. The way
fantastic Batman in that.
It ends is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it does. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah.
So for my next pick, I think it's something that we haven't even touched the surface on this part of Justice League, and this is a very big part of Justice League, and that is the beginning of the Detroit era. So we have the beginning of the Justice League, then we have what we call the satellite years, and then we have Justice League Detroit. So Aquaman essentially says, as the only charter member, he says, I'm disbanding the group because we can't make commitments to be here. We need a Justice League that can be fully committed to being here 100% of the time. Who can make that commitment? And these characters are the ones that say yes. Zatanna, Elongated Man, Martian Manhunter. And then we get the introduction to 4 new Justice League members, Vixen and Commander Steel, who had already been established. And then brand new characters, Vibe, who like to break dance because that was the thing, and Gypsy. So in Justice League Annual number 2 is the official dissolvement of the original Justice League and the formation of the new team, and they end up taking a headquarters in Detroit. And some interesting stories came about, especially when some of the original Justice League members came back to find out that they're not part of this new Justice League. And this is the newsstand copy, and I usually don't think that there's much of a difference, obviously besides the barcode in a newsstand and a direct, but when you get the direct copy and you don't have that at all, man, that artwork looks even better to me.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Oh, I think I like the direct better, yeah.
Yeah, I like the direct better myself, so...
Yeah, I mean, wow.
I just thought that this is an important part of the Justice League. There are some people, believe it or not, that the Detroit years, the Detroit team, that is their Justice League. And none of those people in the chat tonight.
No.
But there are people, they're out there. So, and I mean, even an omnibus exists just dedicated to the Detroit era.
Really? Oh my gosh, I kind of want to get it now.
Not one of my
I just
favorites.
want to look for it.
Not one of my
And
favorites.
I didn't even know about Justice League Detroit era, so
Yes.
It's like the
Matter of fact-
Avengers Great Lakes or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
of course. The difference with the Avengers and like a West Coast Avengers and a Great Lakes Avengers, they still were all the Avengers at one time. This was the only Justice League. It just happened to be based out of Detroit.
Wow. Vixen looks so different from like the animated series. A little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh yeah, she does.
And I think in the animated series, Vibe is in it, but he's on the bad side or something. Like they cross over, and the Vibe over there is bad. I don't remember. I don't even remember Gypsy. I don't remember what her deal was. Was she like Zatanna?
Gypsy could blend into the background.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I don't even remember what she could do.
So just thought it was an interesting part of Justice League of America history that we should represent
weird
tonight.
cover, too.
Yeah. So, like I said, in this case, I think the direct version's a better pick for your collection.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's only a little barcode, but man, to me, it's a lot.
It takes away, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I never understood why they put the barcode on the front.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it took away from the art.
Yeah.
Put it on the
Yeah,
back.
plenty of room on the
Put it
back
on
page.
the back.
Yeah. Well, that's where they had to have, an ad to sell the book. It had to be like buy this, 10-speed bike or something.
Yep.
I have to admit, I've read a few of the later issues. I haven't gone through all them because I went back to the beginning and started reading through some of the issues that I remembered as a kid. But I was not too enamored with some of the stories and stuff. It just didn't do much for me, I think. But I haven't gone through all of them, so maybe if I do, I'll have a different feeling.
And plus, the very final issue of Justice League, the only Justice Leaguer that's on the cover is Vixen. What an odd choice for the final issue of Justice League, you know?
One of them died, which I actually cheered when I read it. Anyway, all right. Now that I've been obnoxious with respect to that, we go on with another team-up multiverse saga. This interested me because the Justice League almost made no appearance here.
Nope.
Okay?
Wow.
It's numbers 37 and 38. Is number 37,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
The Earth Without a Justice League. That's why they don't make much of an appearance here.
Wow.
This was the establishment by Johnny Thunder's Thunderbolt of an Earth Without a Justice League. Johnny Thunder was late for his Justice Society meeting, as I recall. And I forget exactly why, but he was trying to get his Thunderbolt to accompany him, right? And the Thunderbolt said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late because I went over to Earth 1 just to hang out and see what was going on." So Johnny Thunder, being the Doomcough that he is, said, "Hey, I'd like to go there and find out who my other person happens to be. Who am I?" It's kind of like shades of Peacemaker and Vigilante. So he goes over there, and the Johnny Thunder there is a petty criminal, knocks him out, takes over the Thunderbolt, and then decides he wants to become a major criminal, but the Justice League is there. So he says, "Thunderbolt, go back in time and change history so that the Justice League never get their powers." And that's what he does.
Wow.
So it's up to the Justice Society, basically, to combat them, and beat him, And the funny thing about it is, and here you got now, Crisis on Earth A. It was named Earth A because it's an alternate Earth.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And in this issue, what the Thunderbolt does, what Johnny does with the Thunderbolt, is go back in time and recreate the Justice League, have them all get their powers, and you see them here on this side, but they are evildoers. All right? So he creates the Justice League again, going back in time, but makes them all criminals beholden to him. Okay? And it's up to the Justice Society again to defeat them. And they really don't defeat them, as I remember the story. I might be a little off on this, but what I recall is that he just basically he can't seem to beat the Justice Society. So he says, "Screw this," and just has the Thunderbolt go back and change everything to the way it was. I could be wrong on that. That's kind of what I remember. It was something along those lines. And so then, obviously, then the Justice League comes back. But the thing that got me on this one was basically that there's really no Justice League here. It's a Justice Society two-parter where they basically save the Justice League.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's numbers 38 and 39.
Yep. Sometimes your heroes need saving.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
All right. Nice picks. I'm learning a lot about the Justice League tonight.
So for my next pick, the finale of the story is really my pick, but I'm going to show what kind of leads into it. Issue 166 is another great Wonder Woman prominent cover, but the Justice League are taking on a version of the Secret Society of Supervillains. And this is an interesting issue as they end up changing bodies with the SSOSV. And so in the next issue, when these are now the Secret Society of Supervillains, they're coming in contact with someone who hasn't been changed into one of them, and there's the Wizard who's really one of the Justice Leaguers, trying to warn them, no, we're really the Justice League, and oh, shut up, he's just pulling a trick. This is my official pick because of the cover, the climax of the story where they're changing back.
Yeah.
So you see that, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Zatanna, and Green Lantern have all been affected. And what's interesting about this is years later, they pulled the string on this 3-issue storyline because when the Secret Society switched places with them, they learned their secret identities. They knew who the superheroes really were. Oh. So then they pulled that string, years later in another volume and said, we've got to do something about this. And they had Zatanna wipe their minds, which was very controversial. Yeah. But that was all inspired because of this 3-issue storyline. So I just think this is a good, fun reread. All 3 issues are. But, technically this is my pick, but the other ones lead up to it. So, and this cover is just perfection. Dick Dillon was a longtime JLA artist, and he is just in his prime drawing these issues at this time in the Bronze Age.
Right.
Nice. That's a cool pick too. Damn.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's cool.
So thus far, all my picks were Gardner Fox stories and Mike Sikowski pencils with some Murphy Anderson either covers or inks of Sikowski's on the covers. This one is number 77, and it's a Denny O'Neil story. And we just mentioned Dick Dillon, who was a JLA artist for about 12 years and over 100 issues or whatever, but then definitely 12 years.
Run.
He drew this one, and it's number 77, as I mentioned. All right. And you see, betraying the Justice League. You fools, I am the last one you'd suspect of betraying the Justice League.
That's a cool cover.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say, this was important to me for a number of reasons. All right. The first is, and this is one that I'm sure Ryan could tell you. He mentioned the satellite era. All right. Before the Justice League of America had their headquarters on the satellite above the Earth, does anybody know where their headquarters was located?
In the Hall of Justice, right?
No.
Where was it located?
Ryan for 10 points.
It was located in Happy Harbor, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And so in this issue, basically what happens is the other reason this is important. So this was the last issue where they had that headquarters, because the headquarters was basically revealed to this entity here, who I'll disclose in a second, because it was a real big surprise. And basically what happened was when that was exposed, they couldn't have it anymore, and they decided they would have the satellite, which was in the next issue, number 78, was the first satellite issue, if you want to call it that, satellite era issue. So, so this was the catalyst basically for the satellite era of the Justice League. Now, the reason this hit me so much is, and I'll tell you, this guy is the Joker. That was that really just blew my mind at the end. You don't expect the Joker to be somebody to take on the entire Justice League.
Right.
But it was a Joker. But that was besides the point. What happened here is that the Joker tricked Snapper. Anybody know who Snapper Carr is? I should have mentioned him earlier.
Yeah.
All right. He was a jive talking, snapping, like young guy.
Yeah, Daddy-O.
Daddy-O that became kind of an honorary member of the Justice League, and he was in pretty much all the issues, all the stories, or many of them. Sometimes he participated, most of the time he didn't. Yeah, well, too bad, Jackson. Go someplace else. Anyway, the story's only about 50 years old, Justin, so maybe we'll get to it. Anyway.
Empathy, Joe, empathy.
What happened was, because of his betrayal, although it was a trick, he didn't mean it, that Silver Age dynamic of having kind of the young, person in there ended. Snapper Carr left the Justice League. And so he always brought kind of a little air of, humor and stuff to it. And a little
innocence.
Yeah. And if you look at the stories that come after this, I believe you'll see that they're a bit more serious. Like the Snapper Carr era ended, the Happy Harbor era ended, and now you've got their secret sanctuary is now up in a satellite. Excuse me, the satellite era ended. So this was, I think, a significant Bronze Age story by Denny O'Neil. And I think having Denny O'Neil write some of the stories, they're going to be a little bit more serious, I think, as well.
Right.
That's that.
Nice, great pick.
Got to put some drugs up in it and everything else.
So I will completely piggyback off of what Joe said and show issue 78, where they're going into the satellites. So we have special guest Vigilante, much different than an Adrian Chase Vigilante. This one more of a Western hero making an appearance. They think that the superheroes are abandoning Earth because, you gotta remember, this is published at the end of 1969, and they're going into space for a headquarters, and they drilled it into your head so much as a reader. You know that JLA satellite is 22,300 miles above Earth.
That's right.
That is drilled in your head every issue that the satellite makes an appearance until the Detroit era, where the satellite just basically has been destroyed. So this is such a different shift. It goes from the Mike Sikowski into the Dick Dillon artwork. And Dick Dillon, like Joe said, worked on this book for such a long time. He passed away in the process of penciling a Justice League issue.
Yeah, I'm going to say that in the next.
Oh, never mind. You didn't hear any of that. He
passed away when penciling an issue. I'll talk about that.
Yeah. So we got the nice strip on the side of our roll call. We have the heroes leading up into space, and like I said, that was years that they spent up in that satellite, which was such an evolution. And nobody else was in a satellite in comic books anywhere else, and the Justice League did it.
Yeah, where'd they get the beaming technology from, and how come they're not sharing that all over the world?
I think that was Wayne Tech. I think Wayne financed all of this.
Wayne Tech.
Yeah. So I just thought I would piggyback off of what Joe said.
I have the blueprint sticker if you want.
Nice. So fun issue.
That's cool.
Right.
And I'm glad you brought that, because I was saying to myself, why didn't they bring the next one?
I got you, Joe. I got you. That's why we're friends.
Thank you. That's perfect.
Ryan took care of business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Dylan in my spec pick, actually.
Okay.
So this next one, I am going to. This is basically another Justice Society, Justice League of America team up. It's the only 3-parter that I know of. So I don't have an extra book. So this is supposed to be number 9, but I'm going to count this as number 9 and 10. Then Ryan can do 2 in a row.
Okay.
All right. Story. Okay. So this was the numbers 100, 101, and 102. Now, the reason I picked this to begin with, not just because it's a landmark issue, but it has not just the Justice League of America, not just the Justice Society of America, but the 7 Soldiers of Victory.
Oh, cool.
Heck yeah.
It is very cool. And the story is very cool as well, because there is an evildoer and something going on where the only group that can save the world effectively is the 7 Soldiers of Victory. All right. But they're scattered around space and time and whatever else. And so what the Justice Society and the Justice League of America have to do is they go ahead and they have to go across time and different places on Earth and so forth to find them and put them all together so that they can eventually beat them. This is Len Wein story, and of course Dick Dillon art as well.
Okay, Joe, down in that second one right there, is that Metamorpho in the bottom?
Yes.
Where your finger is?
Right there.
And who is that? Is that supposed to be Wonder Woman with like outer powers?
That's the mod era, yeah.
That's Diana Prince's Wonder Woman, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And there she is as the Earth 2 version, as Ryan was talking about beforehand. So the interesting thing about it again was this whole, I mean, I love this cover. This is one of my favorite Justice League covers.
Now that one I would slab 150%.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Is that nice? So the other thing too is that there was the unknown soldier of victory, and they find out during their investigation that the unknown soldier of victory was Wing, the Asian sidekick of the Crimson Avenger. He had been an unofficial 8th member of the 7 Soldiers of Victory, and he died sacrificing himself to save them from Nebula Man, who was the evildoer that spread them all around the place. The interesting about this now is that when they got this piece that they needed, I wish I could remember what it was, but it was some sort of an instrument that they needed to defeat the evildoer. It had to be something similar to what Wing did. In other words, somebody had to sacrifice himself. So everybody started to fight. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And Red Tornado from Earth 2 just comes flying in and saying, I'll do it, guys. And he goes and he grabs the thing out of everybody's hand, goes there, thing blows up, defeats the evildoer, and you think he's dead. And maybe he was, I can't remember, but of course he comes back later on, so forth. So it's just was like a cool story because you go even further back in the Golden Age than the Justice Society of America, in effect. You have Stripesy, you have all those people that are there in this.
Right. Shiny Knight.
Yeah. I mean, cool people that are there, and of course, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, and Speedy, who were there back, part of the 7 Soldiers of Victory. Okay, so I just love this cover, and the story is pretty cool as well. So that's my 9th and 10th one, Gary.
Nice. Yeah, good name, 7 Soldiers of Victory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 2 in a row from you, Ryan.
Okay, so let's do another landmark. Let's piggyback right off of what Joe said. He showed issue 100, so we got to have issue 200. When George Perez does a cover like this, that is a wraparound.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
You've got to show this. So this is essentially the new team, meaning others that weren't the original charter members of the Justice League, up against the original team. And it's a story that piggybacks off of their origin, which was done in Justice League number 9. It's got a slew of different artists and creators who have worked on this. A fantastic cover, a great way to just showcase a team that made it to issue 200. And how cool was it that George Perez did Avengers 200 and Justice League 200? He did both of those team books, 200th issue. So maybe the Avengers 200 we don't talk quite so much about. But this one no one talks about as much for how entertaining and enjoyable this one is. And George Perez, his dream job for DC was to do Justice League, and they asked him when he started working for DC, what would you want? He said Justice League. He said, but I can't have that. I can't take that away from Dick Dillon. And when Dick passes, George comes on.
Wow.
So that is pick 9, and my final pick. This is a book. It doesn't kind of. I'm just going to show it because I've shown this on the 1011 before. Issue 195 is my favorite Justice League book of all time, but it's a 3-issue storyline. I love this incarnation of the Secret Society of Supervillains. This is the only time this version had ever been put together with the Mist, Signal Man, Monocle, Ragdoll, Cheetah, Killer Frost, Brainwave, Psycho Pirate, and the Floronic Man. And it crosses over into issue 196. And of course, the villains start to double team each other. There's villains from Earth 1, Earth 2, and they start to double team each other after they got what they needed from the villains. So they have to bust the superheroes out to help them just get through it. So these 3 issues is my number 1 all-time favorite Justice League of America storyline. 195, 196, and 197. I could reread this any day, all day, and enjoy it as much as the very first time that I ever read it.
Who wrote it?
I think it's a Jerry Conway. Let me take a look for you. Like I said, it was another one of those yearly JLA JSA crossovers, and I'm looking right now. Jerry Conway and George Perez.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, gray-haired Superman.
Yep.
Nice.
Ultra Humanite.
Yep,
Yeah.
there he is.
But this, I remember seeing this on the spinner rack, and I was like,
I know I got that one just because, again, got to have that added value. Look at all those villains and superheroes in one
exactly,
book.
That's the one thing.
exactly.
It's just amazing that some of the covers are really good, some not so good, but some are really good. But even if you go back into the 60s, even though the covers may not have had much to do with the story, they did reflect at least one panel in the story. But they were done really, really well.
Yes.
You know? And so, I mean, it was just like good. And seeing all those superheroes, most of the time in compromising positions, wondering how they're going to get out of stuff, always was like intriguing to me as a young kid.
Yes.
All right,
You
so
know,
you
that's
going story or
why I
spec
decided-
first, Joe?
What's that?
You going
Well, my
story
story
or
one,
spec?
I was trying to find a story, and I didn't know what the story was. So I thought I know that Ryan started off with his first one about the book that I gave him. So I thought I'd just tell the story about this one. So when Ryan and I first started talking about this, I think I was in the chat maybe when Ryan was on 1011 or something like that. I forget. Was that it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
We're talking about it, and he mentioned that he had one more book to go. And I said, I have one more book to go. Hey, Damien. And so we then traded some, Instagram texts and all that. And as to which one do you need? Because maybe I got it. And I didn't have it. I only had one copy of it. And so he knew that I needed number 75, right? 75, yeah. Number 75, which is the first Silver Age appearance of the Black Canary. But this is now Dinah Laurel Lance, the daughter of the Golden Age Earth 2 Dinah Drake Lance, all right? She comes over from Earth 2, and there's a whole bunch of different things that go on here. When she comes over from Earth 2, because of the way she transitioned, this is the first time she gets her special canary scream.
Oh,
right?
okay, nice.
So this is significant for that reason. And so it's usually a fairly pricey book.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a key.
So, because of that. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't have it, because I was looking for one. Look, this is really in great shape.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard cover to keep from getting all the spine.
It's not
ticks.
bad. I mean, it's got a lot of spine ticks and stuff like that, but it presents really well. And so most of the time, something like this would be like $150, $125. And I'm saying, no, I don't know. Maybe. I said, I guess I'll get it eventually. So Ryan says, hey, I just saw one online. He sends me the thing. I go there. The guy wanted like $50 some odd on eBay. And so I said, wow, I'm getting it. So this is it. So I got this book thanks to Ryan, and so I managed to finish my run thanks to, so that's why it's not a competition. It's not.
No, not at all.
Managed to finish
It's friendship.
thanks to his giving me the basically the update as to where I can go and find it, and got the tip, went and got it, and it's a cool story. All right.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing about this is, besides the scream and all that, is this is the first time, I'm pretty sure, but I know Ryan probably will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time that we had like major changes in the lineup of the Justice League of America.
That's the first female member elected.
Okay.
Since Wonder Woman. I mean, she's the second female member ever to be elected.
Right. And I think Green Arrow, if you take a look at it, look at Green Arrow there.
Yeah.
He's got his new costume in there too. I think it was the second appearance of his new costume when he stopped being like the kind of the little, I don't know, Robin Hood type of like guy. You know, he has the goatee and all that. Alexa, he shouldn't wear just red covers. Wait until my spec pick. Anyway, so it's a cool issue. It's a good story. It's got some significance to it as well. And thank you, Ryan, for giving me the tip.
Of course.
It enabled me to go ahead and get it at a really good price, and finish my run. Thank you.
Nice.
So Joe finished his run of Justice League before I did. And once again, not a competition. It's one of those, he would have done the exact same thing for me if he had seen the book that I needed. So I just finished mine a couple weeks ago with issue 19, and this is the final one that I needed. So what happens is, I told this story recently on my channel. I'm going to expand a little bit with some details that I didn't necessarily say on my channel because it's not on my channel currently. I had this horrible day at work. I mean, just horrible. I am the type, I never leave work early. If I have the flu, I stick it out. I mean, I don't leave work early for nothing. And this day, a couple weeks ago, I couldn't take it anymore. And I left work early. And I was in a mood. I didn't want to go home. So I said, I'm going comic book shopping. Maybe looking through some long boxes will make me feel better. I go to this amazing store that's about 45 minutes away, and I know the owner. And every time I talk to him, I always say, oh, I'm X amount of issues away from completing Justice League. And I say, I'm one away. He says, well, which one do you need? I said 19. And then I start talking to him about how it's so weird as a collector that my entire life I would go to a convention or a store. There was always a Justice League issue that I need. Now I go to a store and there aren't ones I need. I can't find what I need when you're down to one. He says, I just picked up some Justice League. And he goes, I haven't put them out yet. He goes, I think I have it. Let me go look. So, okay. He goes and looks, and I'm just going through the store, doing my thing. And he had actually left the building because they have other comics stored and they have other buildings on the property. Yeah. And I see him come back about 10 minutes later. I don't see anything in his hands. I'm like, he didn't have it. Then all of a sudden he lifts it up. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then he gives me the price for it, cheaper than I could have gotten on eBay any day, all day.
Wow.
And for me, that's the way I wanted to complete my collection. I got it in the wild. I didn't know the store was going to have it. I got an amazing deal. I did not overpay on it just because it was the last one. And he knew it was my last one. He could have jacked up that price. That's an honest seller for you.
Yep.
That's someone who wants a happy customer. So James at Cowabunga Comics, I will always remember that moment. And I even hugged him. I was so happy. I'm sure he wasn't too happy about that, but it happened. So I haven't read this yet. I do a monthly show with John's Comics with Friends called JLA versus Avengers, where we take the single issue, this month we're doing the issue before, issue 18. So we'll take issue 18 of JLA, read it, take issue 18 of Avengers and read it, compare them, and decide who had the better issue 18, the Avengers or the JLA. So next month we do this issue. So there was a little bit of a time crunch for me to get this into my collection. And so I'm saving to read it for the first time until next month when we'll feature that on the show. Incidentally, the next edition of JLA Avengers covering issue 18 is on John's Comics with Friends channel next Wednesday night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
Now, Ryan, you have to point out that the Justice League is being banished, right?
They are being banished, but who are these people down here?
That's right. Who are these people down there? Exactly.
Yes, I don't know who those people are.
I don't know.
So I'm looking forward to finding out who these people are.
You
Okay.
two people, you guys must have amnesium or something. In
I must have amnesium. Bad case of it.
Hey, Ryan, I think I stepped on you when you said the name of the shop. You got that from?
Sorry, Cowabunga Comics, and it's James is the owner. It's in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. This is a good guy. I mean, like I said, he knew it was the last issue. I didn't know he had it. He could have jacked the price up on me just to see if, he didn't.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
and that store, their inventory is always changing. It's such a treat to get to go to that store.
That's great.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was my final issue of Justice League to get into the collection.
Nice.
Great story.
Yeah.
Great
And a
story.
great cover to end it with.
Yeah. I mean, I could have bought it on eBay, but this was much more fun. And that bad mood I was in, it went away when that Justice League 19 came through the door.
So you went back to work.
back.
Yeah.
No, I didn't go back to work. I didn't even tell them I went comic shopping. I just went home and the next day they're like, are you doing better? I'm like, I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, and that
So-
feeling when you complete a run is just cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially when you've been working on like for
Yeah.
years.
And I didn't know that day I would complete it. I didn't know.
That's the
what
best.
Hunting in the Wild is the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So spec pick was kind of difficult. There were a few books, and Digger saw one that I was talking about where I could have said this is a spec pick. But I started thinking about the DCU, right? We've got a couple of the storylines going. Obviously, Superman is there. And you know that at some point in time, the Justice League will appear. And that probably soon thereafter, I would think, all right, you're going to see Darkseid. So one of the things that I was looking for, because I kind of remembered that there was, I believe, the first appearance of Darkseid in Justice League comic books. And it was a crossover event, basically. 3 issues, number 183, 184, and 185. 183 co-features the Justice Society and the New Gods. Crisis on New Genesis. And essentially the Injustice, what do they call themselves? The Injustice Society. Sorry.
Right.
The Injustice Society of Earth 2, like Icicle, the Shade, the Fiddler,
Mhm.
those guys. They made a deal with Apocalypse that they were going to help resuscitate Darkseid, who had been killed in the war with New Genesis. And so what happened was they started taking over New Genesis, and they were just down to about 5 or 6 or 7 of the New Gods. So they reach out to the Justice League during the time when they were going to have the annual meeting with the Justice Society of America and ask them for some help. And that's basically the storyline as they go along. And so this is the first time that you get Darkseid in the Justice League.
No, that's a great cover.
So I see the good possibility that James Gunn, and he calls me routinely to ask for my advice. As he goes along, and it may not happen for I don't know how many years, you might very well see the Justice League going up because he does say that there were metahumans going back 300 years, and you remember that mural.
Yeah, the
in
little
Hall of
blurb.
Justice.
Yep.
Probably going to have Justice Society people or others, may not be exactly this way, that are going to join together to defeat Darkseid that's here. So I think, and these are not expensive books. So from a spec standpoint, and it might take a little bit of a while to get here, you can buy these books, some of them maybe for $5 or $10 if you go to the right place. Stash them away, and when the movie comes out, you're going to be able to sell them for a lot of money.
I mean, ideally, that's what you want in a spec pick, right?
That's
You want
right.
the low buy-in with the potential payoff.
Right. Now, we spoke about Dick Dillon. Dick Dillon was the Justice League of America artist for 12 years. So I don't know how many books that is, but it's probably 100 books or so, and that was his baby. This number 183 was the final completed issue that Dick Dillon drew. So he was basically the guy who drew, Justice League for such a long, long time. He was working on 184 when he suffered a heart attack at age 50 and passed away.
Ooh, wow, that's young.
Yeah.
Wow.
So at that point in time, and I'm sure he didn't like the circumstances, but George Perez got his wish. And Jerry Conway was the writer of this, incidentally. So this is the first. So basically, George Perez picked up and drew 184 and 185, and these were the first 2 issues that George Perez drew of the Justice League.
Wow.
Right? And it's all because Dillon died very young of a heart attack while working on 184. This was the 18th annual team up. All right, so it's it's just a tradition, basically. I wasn't at the point of buying comics anymore, but basically this is like the one that this team up stuff was significant. And taking a look at it, let's take a quick look at these again. All right, so here you've got basically the Justice League people fighting with the New Gods. Then in the next one, and Gary, you mentioned this, there are 25. Digger, you see that? 25 old pages of the world's greatest superheroes, but I think there were more than 25 heroes in this thing.
Yeah.
As you go along.
Mr. Miracle up in there.
Yeah. There's Power Girl.
Well, the way they have Batman's cape, like
That's
going around
cool.
the chin.
Underneath, yeah.
Yeah.
Big Florida.
And this one, there's so many heroes that some of them are just like drawn. You don't even know who they are.
Right.
In the background. I mean, it's pretty cool. Dark Side Rising, But this is the best cover of the 3. Obviously.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So it's got a little bit of historical aspect. I think from a spec standpoint, I didn't check the prices, but I know when I bought one of these, I forget which one it was, I only paid $5 for it a few years ago. So
That's
they can't
too
be that
bad.
expensive.
Probably cheaper now.
Maybe. So buy it, boys and girls. Put it away and you'll be able to pay for college.
That's right. So when it came time for my spec book, or my spec pick, I mean, there's some great stuff that we've already talked about tonight, like Joe mentioned. I mean, issue 1, that's a no-brainer for a spec, Issue 21 with the first JLA JSA, they're about to reprint this as a facsimile in next month. That's a no-brainer too. Right. Even the second Black Canary, even though at the time we don't know, and she doesn't even know that she's the second Black Canary. Those are all amazing spec picks, including the one that Joe showed tonight. But I wanted to pick something that we didn't spotlight so far that I truly feel is a spec pick. I alluded to this a little bit, what happens in this issue a little bit, when I was talking about Justice League number 200. But it all goes back to the JLA's origin in issue number 9 as my spec pick. Now, they have tried saying before there actually was a true first meeting of them before this. And everyone threw that away and said, that didn't happen. This person's just trying to take credit for it. But, after 3 Brave and the Bold appearances and 8 other issues of their own title, they decided it's time for the true origin to be revealed. And this, when people talk about early Justice League, when they recap it in comic books, this scene is always included with the Justice League turning into the trees and the meteors. In issue 200, it's about these meteors and where the Justice League hid them, and they're trying to retrieve them, and the new team is trying to stop them. But it all comes back to this issue number 9. It always comes back to this origin. So to me, this is a spec pick. This is one that you always see that goes for a fine price when you do see the book. I even remember, obviously it's not the copy I have. I'm really happy with the copy that I have. But there was a comic store about an hour away that had a copy of this for the longest time, but their Flash was so faded that he was pink. Now, Wonder Woman, her costume was still red, but everything on the Flash was complete faded pink. It was just the weirdest copy I'd ever seen. And they still wanted like $150 for it, and it was like in a good condition.
That's been homage to that cover.
Let me ask you something, Ryan.
Yeah.
Do you remember, was like at the top of that book though, you see the red on DC, was that pink as well? That issue, you know what I mean, you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember. I only remember the Flash. Kind of like this part was in the sun.
Right.
This half, and the rest wasn't. Because he was so faded. I mean, just incredibly faded.
Could have been when they ran it. If they were running it on that part, the machine might have ran.
That's an interesting. That's true too. I've never seen a copy like it before, but I already had this one at this point, and I was quite happy with this one.
Yeah, that could have easily been a.
That's a nice copy too.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Very nice.
So this to me is, outside of the ones that I just showed and the ones that Joe and I talked about tonight, this is one that needs some attention and some love, especially when it comes to spec.
But that's not kryptonite, right?
No.
Okay. This kind of looks like.
Yeah.
Can't they pick a different color rock for crying out loud?
Yeah.
It's always a green rock.
Yep.
Cheaper.
So, like I said, it was homaged a few times, I think. I remember seeing
Yeah, it has been. So, but anytime the origin is talked about, this one's reenacted, as I said before. So.
Nice.
That's a good pick, Ryan. Good
Thanks.
pick.
All right, well, good. First of all, great books, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And I learned a lot about Justice League tonight that I didn't know. So probably a couple issues I'm going to pick up to read too.
Awesome.
Especially that Wonder Woman one, and then the Batman one.
The 202, yeah.
But,
Gary, is it the one where she's being carried or the one where she's laying flat?
the one where she came back.
Okay.
Yeah, where she's being carried.
Carried.
He wasn't supporting her head. That's just wrong.
I know.
Right? He's just
That
hanging
one.
there.
Well, it was just. I won't say anything about it.
No, Joe, stop. Stop, Joe.
I'll say this: if I was the Atom, I'd be nervous. They always put him in these positions where he can be stomped on the cover. I mean, he's like, occasionally you see him on somebody's shoulder, and I'm like, how does he not get beat up more?
Hey,
I mean,
Dick,
like,
when he made his first appearance and he joined the Justice League, he was in some sort of exploding ball. That the
Yeah,
guy was
bowling ball, yeah.
The other guys, So you see him in his ball like this.
Yep.
get me out.
Now, we saw a little bit of the Justice League being formed in the Superman movie. Now,
The Justice Gang, you mean?
yes. Now, who do you guys think? And we'll go around the horn after this, see what everyone's got coming up. Well, who do you guys think the next member is that he's going to introduce that we haven't seen yet?
Ooh.
That's really tough. With James Gunn, you never know.
You never know.
Right?
It could be somebody obscure. Well, he used all the obscure ones, in my opinion, right off the bat, to a degree.
I know you don't think you'll see someone like Black Canary or Huntress show up?
I think you might see the Question.
Oh, the Question would be a good one.
I could see the Question coming into play just because to feed into the storyline. Yeah,
Because I could see Zatanna too, because they haven't had any kind of magic people in this universe yet.
Yeah.
Well, if he ever gets to the Booster Gold movie or show, I think he's a natural.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh, Chris,
you
there you
would,
go,
and
Chris.
so does Bigger.
Yeah.
And Brad says
absolutely.
Martian Manhunter.
Question's a good answer.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I like
supposedly
that.
WB is getting sold, so there might not be a DC future. Oh,
Yeah,
they'll figure something
we'll
out.
see.
If it's making money, it's going to continue.
That's
Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
don't have any worries about that.
Yeah.
well, let's go around the horn and see what everyone's got coming up. We always start with my co-host Jim. What is coming up for you, sir?
I'm going to the Baltimore Comic Con on Saturday, so now you
Nice.
guys have given me some ideas, because to be honest with you, I was told my wife, she's like going with me, and she's like, "What are you buying?" I'm like, I'm not really sure. I need to go through my CLZ, but there are some, and I have a fair amount of Justice League, but maybe it's time to try to hone in on specific things that I didn't have. Like maybe that number 75. I'll look for that. Maybe I can get a good deal on it.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I'm going to shoot some footage of that and, do a video afterwards. I'm going to meet Tony.
Yes, I spent time with him at C2E2 this year.
Yeah, I'm going to meet Tony, the Signature King. We just messaged today because I was like, hey, just FYI, I think they changed the dates from last year, and I don't know why, but they're also having a marathon the same day. And it's the Baltimore Running Festival, which it's a qualifying marathon event. So I'm going to be parking and walking like 12 miles to get to the convention center. And I said, dude, you might want to think about where you're going to park and all that stuff. So that's what's going on.
Good.
Nice. All right. Joe, what's coming up for you?
Well, we have a couple of live shows coming up. A week from tomorrow, the 24th, we're going to have an espresso mail call, and Mr. Mark Andrews has advised me that he will show up, which is good. On the 31st, we're having a comic book crowd story, and we're going to be talking about the completists, being a completist, and whether it's a disease or not.
It is.
I'm looking for somebody to join us on that. So if you're interested, send me a DM and let me know. That'll be at 8:00 on Halloween, the 31st. So we're gonna finish by 9 for sure. So you young guys, can go out and trick or treat. I'm also working on a couple of videos. I've been, in the midst of all this move and stuff like that, so I haven't been as diligent as I am trying to put out my Monday videos. But I have two of them that are pretty close to completion. One is going to be pretty interesting because it involves an ad in the back of a comic book from the 1960s that I actually sent in and still have the material that I got.
Interesting.
Those ads in the back. So I sent in my $1 or whatever it was, and I got it, and I still have it. So you'll get to see it.
Nice.
Thanks, Jackson.
Let me guess. Was it for the Sea Monkeys or something like that?
You have to watch and see, Jim.
Have to watch and see.
The giant submarine made out of cardboard.
There you go.
Ryan, what's coming up for you, sir?
So already on my channel right now, I do a weekly back issue of the week YouTube short. The current one is on the Defenders, and it's the big Defenders breaking up issue. So that's currently on my channel. You can find out more about that. My comic book editions video for this past week, the current week, is an all Superman haul. Since the Superman movie, I've even picked up more Bronze Age Superman, and I show some of that off in my current video. Coming up, I have Fanboys Live and the Retro Reviews Sunday night, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. Wonder Woman Day is a national recognized day next week, and we'll get you in the mood for Wonder Woman Day. We're going to do a Earth 1, Earth 2 Wonder Woman crossover that was really influenced by season 1 of the Linda Carter TV show. And it's the introduction of a villain called the Red Panzer. So I'll explain more about that during the Retro Review this upcoming weekend.
Very cool.
And I do want to mention I'm 11 subscribers away from 1,000.
Yeah, come on, guys.
11.
Come on.
11. So this has been really exciting. We're almost in the single digits. So I just want to thank everyone for the friendship. I want to especially thank Joe for letting me share his. I mean, I will forever be linked to me in my mind with Joe in completing in this Justice League run, and to get to celebrate it tonight. Gary, I thank you for creating this opportunity, and Mark and Jim to be here too. I just thank you guys so much. I'm really seriously just full of gratitude and appreciation for being part of the stream tonight.
You're so nice, Ryan.
I try.
It's not worth it being that nice to Gary. Come on.
Right?
Dazzler fans have to stick together. We've been through a lot.
It's Dazzler.
And I just stuck up for Joe earlier. I knew I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yep.
That won't happen again.
That won't happen again.
Nope. Oh, and my JLA Avengers with John's Comics with Friends, once again, is next Wednesday on his channel, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central.
Nice.
Hey, Mark, did you have any kind of announcements?
No, I'm gonna do the espresso mail call because Joe graciously let me come on his show, just like you let me come on yours. And I'm gonna be heading down south and hitting a few of my haunts in Southern Ontario, like Cap Can and Kitchener Comic Warehouse, and a couple of those places to see if I can find something interesting, so I'm not boring for Joe's show.
Fun.
You're never boring, Mark.
And then coming up next week for me, there is no show next Tuesday because I am on Fable's channel, and we are talking Chud, Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers, an old classic. So we're talking about that movie. And then on the 23rd, we're going to have Doug Bratton back on as a co-host, and maybe a couple of these guys if they want to join. But we're going to have Beth Chandler on in the hot seat, and we're going to talk to her about her career in comics.
Awesome.
Yep, excellent.
So can't wait to sit down with her. She was kind enough to jump on during Doug's stream and was extremely kind and gracious during the episode. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
One thing I do.
Yes, blame
One thing I
Fable.
do want to mention is I am putting together, I'm waiting for 2 more recalcitrants, but I'm putting together a special video for Doug's Isolation comic book. A few people on this panel here are participating in that. So I've got it kind of all outlined out. I'm just waiting for 2 people who have not provided their content as of yet.
And it isn't this guy.
No, you're good.
No,
And
I think I did mine instantly.
Gary was like so quick, I couldn't even get it downloaded so quickly. So that was good. That was good. You 2 guys were good.
Now, it's worth mentioning the week after, the last week of October, I have got 3 shows in a row to make up for not only having one next week.
Wow.
So we're on the 28th. We have James Green on, the Shawshank guy from Instagram, who's got an incredible collection. On Wednesday, we'll have John's Comics with Friends, and he's doing a Storm 1011.
Oh,
Wow.
I got to find a co-host for that night because it's a Wednesday, and I don't usually have a Wednesday show.
I might do it for Storm.
Oh, there you go. All right, you're in, Jim. And then on the 30th, and Ryan, if you want to join us that night, you're more than welcome. We have Sarah on doing Superman Being a Jerk covers.
I think I could do that. I think that would be fun.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, super dickery.
Yeah. I mean, we had to do a Superman Being a Jerk cover the whole era.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how we're gonna end our October.
Awesome.
All right. Well, can I just interject one more thing?
Sure.
Are you going to bring up C3?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no. Well, I didn't know if you were going to. I didn't want to. If you were getting ready to talk about it, I didn't know if you were ready to talk about it.
No, I'll let you go ahead.
It's the following weekend. From next weekend, they're doing Comics Curing Cancer. It starts off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There are several channels that are working on it. Mark from Legion of Comics. The big channel will be on Rob's Fat Stack of Comics, where they'll be doing. I think they're doing the art on Saturday. Sunday, they do a big sale on Rob's channel as well. There'll probably be something going on in the mix, but there are several channels throughout the week. I just saw something from Nick from Comic Culture. He's doing something for it. So there's several channels that are working on it, but it's a great charity to support. They're looking to try to at least make what they made last year and hit that goal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a little extra money and you don't mind donating to it, you could pick up some cool stuff. I mean, this book I got back here, you can't see it, but it's I got from C3 last year.
Nice.
And also to keep checking out DJ's store because he has great exclusives there for
right.
C3.
DJ. Yep. Thank you, Gary.
Yep. All right, and with that, I'm going to thank first my co-host. Thank you guys for being here. It's always a pleasure to have some extra people along, and 2 incredible guests. I think think that was just so much fun seeing those eras of covers. And I like that you both kind of picked different eras of covers,
Yeah.
which was fun, which kind of, showed when you guys were doing like the great reading, right? When at your ages. And but thank you for the people that were here live tonight and supporting us. We appreciate it. And of course, for those of you catching us on the rewind, everybody's links are in the description below. Go sub up and follow these people. Again, Magic Lasso is only 11 subscribers away from 1,000. Let's get them over that hump.
Let's go.
And we're going to do like we always do. We're going to say thank you so much for watching. We appreciate your time. And as always, keep it casual.
Bye.